One of Wall Street's oldest giants just made a bet on Cardano. Yes, that Cardano. Now, if you told me this back in 2020 when I first bought ADA, I probably would have laughed you out of the room. So, a few days ago, I'm scrolling through the news and I see this headline: Rowe Price files for a crypto ETF with Cardano and XRP. Rowe Price, the $1.77 trillion asset manager that's been around since 1937. I did a double take just to make sure that I wasn't dreaming. This is the kind of ultra-traditional suit and tie firm that for decades stuck to boring mutual funds and blue chip stocks. And now they want a piece of my beloved ADA. Talk about worlds colliding. If you're an ADA holder like me, it feels a little surreal. Now, in today's video, I want to share this, at least why this bizarre news feels like personal validation for us Cardano believers, and what it could mean for Cardano's future, and of course crypto as a whole. But trust me here, this is not just another news update, right? There's actually a twist involving a government shutdown, some insider chatter, and even a side quest that I've been working on to stay ahead in the crypto game. So stick around here, because this story might just change how you see the next phase of crypto. Let me rewind for just a second. Now, I've been invested in ADA since early 2020. Back then, Cardano was trading for literally just a few cents, and smart contracts were just a distant promise on a roadmap. Now, friends told me I was crazy. Cardano, really? It's vaporware. It's never going to amount to anything, they said. Now, I even remember some people calling it a ghost chain before it even had a chance to prove itself. But something about Cardano and its vision grabbed me. Maybe it was Charles Hoskinson's knack for bold predictions, or the peer-reviewed approach, or maybe I just like rooting for the underdog. So I held on through thick and thin. I watched ADA soar to over $3 during 2021. It's a bull run that was, and then plunge all the way back down into the bear market. I sat through the FUD, the memes, the endless Twitter debates. But I never sold my core position. I figured, if I believe in the tech and the community, why not see it through? Fast forward to 2025, by now I've gotten used to crypto surprises, but nothing prepared me for this surprise. Rowe Price, yes, that Rowe Price, the nearly 90-year-old investment firm, actually handling about $1.7 trillion in assets, suddenly decided to waltz into the crypto arena. And not quietly either. They actually filed an S-1 with the SEC to launch something called the Rowe Price Active Crypto ETF. Now, launching a crypto ETF isn't unheard of in 2025. We've seen several. But here is the kicker. This isn't just a Bitcoin or an Ethereum fund. No. It's a basket of multiple cryptos, and guess which one made the cut? Bitcoin and Ether, of course, but also a bunch of others. Dogecoin, Solana, Shiba Inu, Litecoin, and two names very close to my heart: Cardano's ADA and XRP. I had to kind of rub my eyes at that part. A Wall Street steward, I guess, including ADA, even meme coins like Doge and Shiba in a fund. It's kind of like finding out your straight-laced accountant secretly listens to heavy metal. It's both shocking and oddly satisfying. I mean, a few years ago, could you imagine a firm established in 1937 even uttering the word Dogecoin in a serious financial product? No, now it's actually happening. Beyond the initial shock, let's unpack why this is such a big deal. Rowe Price, diving into digital assets, signals a broader trend, right? Traditional finance, known as TradFi, is finally embracing crypto in a serious way, right? Remember, this is the first time that Rowe is offering any kind of crypto-focused fund. They mostly missed the early ETF gold rush. BlackRock and others stole the show with Bitcoin ETFs. In fact, BlackRock's Bitcoin Spot ETF became the most successful ETF launch in history by attracting billions in just days. Right now, after seeing that, I suspect Rowe Price's thought process was, we need to get in on this, but maybe we can do something a little different. And different it is. An actively managed mix of 5 to 15 cryptos with the flexibility to change the basket over time. It's kind of like a crypto mutual fund for their clients. So if you're a Rowe client, well, maybe your advisor can soon say, how about we put a little of your portfolio into crypto? Right? We have this new fund with a sprinkle of Bitcoin, a dash of Ethereum, and hey, even some Cardano in it. From where I am standing, as someone who's been yelling from the rooftops about kind of ADA, at least for years, this feels vindicating. Now, it's not just me and a bunch of internet strangers who see value in Cardano. Now, one of the most conservative asset managers on the planet sees it too. It's almost poetic. They say first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, and then they fight you, and then they join you. I kind of feel like we're entering the joining phase now. Now, I don't want to get too carried away with the emotions. So let's talk about the facts and the context. This move by Rowe Price adds at least to a growing list of crypto ETF filings and the potential approvals. Right? Grayscale, for example, has filed for a Cardano ADA spot ETF of its own. And other big names like 21 Shares, Bitwise, Franklin Templeton, and you name it, have been pushing for ETFs focused on assets like XRP, right? And a year ago, an XRP or ADA ETF sounded a bit like a moonshot, but today it's in a race, right? Everyone wants to be first, or at least not to be left behind. Financial analysts are buzzing about this, right? Nate Garasi, a guy who's deep in ETFs world, said that he can't overstate the significance of Rowe Price coming out of the left field with an active crypto ETF. To translate that, it's a huge freaking deal, right? This is a legacy firm putting their stamp on crypto, which forces a lot of skeptics to perk up and pay more attention. Garasi also pointed out that thinking crypto would just disappear is just not a viable strategy anymore. And that's a subtle way of saying, if you were betting on crypto dying, well, you bet wrong. And something he mentioned really kind of got me thinking here. He hinted that this could be the first step towards something even bigger, possibly tokenization of traditional assets. Like maybe today it's crypto tokens in a fund, but tomorrow it could be tokenized stocks or bonds on a blockchain. And the door is opening wider and wider between the old financial world and the new one. But hold up. There is a little bit of drama in the background to this story. Now, at the moment, the US Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, can't actually review or approve any of these new ETF applications. Why? Because the US government is, as of now, shut down. Yeah, you heard me right. We have these multi-trillion-dollar finance companies finally embracing crypto, and the regulators are essentially on an involuntary vacation. The timing is almost comedic. However, this shutdown, it won't last forever. At least, let's hope it won't. Right? And here is the kind of interesting part. Many folks believe that once the government is back on track, the SEC might quickly greenlight a whole bunch of these pending crypto ETFs, including those for Cardano and XRP. So just imagine waking up to that news, say 5 or 10 different crypto ETFs got approved overnight. It would be absolute mayhem, the good kind of mayhem, hopefully, and with new money rushing into crypto's market. Now, as an ADA enthusiast and holder, I'm excited by that very thought, but I'm also keeping my feet on the ground. We've all learned, I guess, the hard way in crypto that nothing is guaranteed until it's a done deal. This might just shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile, and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You should always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. After all, your investments are entirely your responsibility, and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses, and this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Alright, needed to get that kind of disclaimer out of the way. Now let's pivot just a little bit. We've talked about the big picture, institutions finally kind of bordering the crypto train, if you will. So let's go ahead and talk about what I'm doing on the ground level as a retail investor, because news like this also gets me thinking, how do I make the most out of the situation, and how do I make sure that I'm ready for this next big wave? For one, I'm always looking for new, innovative ways to earn and learn in crypto beyond just holding some coins and waiting. Now, some of you know what I'm about to mention, because I've talked about it many times before. It's Unity. Now, relax. I know Unity is not the star of today's video, but it's definitely part of this journey. Now, in simpler terms, Unity is just a project that lets regular people like you and I participate in a decentralized telecoms network, and you earn crypto in return for it. Think of it like mining or staking, but instead of expensive mining rigs, you actually get to use everyday devices like a smartphone, which is pretty cool, right? I actually jumped on the Unity train by purchasing a Unity Masternode NFT, which came with 200 licensed NFTs. Now that essentially just means that I have the capacity to connect up to 200 devices, like phones, to the Unity network under my node. Now, I'm not about to go out there and buy 200 phones tomorrow. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not that crazy yet. But my plan is to start off small when the Unity app actually goes live. Maybe I'm going to just hook up these 10 phones to run as a bit of a test. Don't want to see how things run and make sure they're working smoothly. Iron out any kinks and make sure that this is going to be what I think it is. Now, I don't know for sure, but turning my house into a literal hotspot could be a problem. Now, if all goes well, of course, then yeah, I'm going to consider scaling up gradually. Now, here's the really interesting part. Unity actually lets me earn rewards in multiple different cryptocurrencies. I can choose to be paid in Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, or XRP, among many others. So you see why it kind of caught my attention, right? It's a way to passively accumulate more crypto that I love. I almost like kind of staking. It's almost like staking, I should say, but without very different flavor to it. It's like, instead of just holding ADA in a wallet to earn more ADA, I'm actually contributing to a network and getting paid in ADA or other coins for that contribution, which I can then stake and earn more, compounding over time. So over time, that could stack up very nicely. But, and this is a big but, as always, you should do your own research, right? Just because I'm experimenting with this doesn't mean that you should just blindly jump on in. Now, I've put some links in the description below for Unity's light paper and their rewards calculator for you guys to check it out and see if the numbers work for yourself and decide if it's something that is interesting to you. Now, I've covered Unity in many videos before, and just so that the regular viewers are, probably familiar with everything by now is probably an understatement. Oh, and there's just one more thing on Unity before we move on. I did go ahead and actually buy a second and third Unity node. Why 2 more? Well, I realized that there are some people out there that are really intrigued by Unity, but they don't want to commit to a full master node on their own, or they can't afford to, because that's not necessarily the cheapest thing for an average retail investor, after all. Right, with a second and third node, I have some extra capacity in terms of those device licenses, and I'm planning to lease them out to you guys and people in the community who want to dip their toes into the Unity world without any of the big upfront costs. So think of it as kind of splitting a Netflix family plan down, but for crypto nodes. Now, I'm going to be sharing more details on this on the website and, of course, in the free Discord server. The links for those are in the description down below. So if it is something that sounds of interest to you and it sounds like something that's up your alley, then hop into the Discord. It's a great community, and we'll be happy to answer all of your questions down there. Now, Unity aside, I do want to share another personal strategy of mine that ties back to this bigger part of the picture of being prepared in this unpredictable crypto world. Right? Let's talk about exchanges. Right? If you've been around crypto for even just a couple of years, then you'll know that exchanges can sometimes be a headache. They go down for maintenance, right when volatility seems to spike. Or suddenly you can't withdraw your funds because they're overwhelmed. Or, heaven forbid, you get one of them hacks or freezes, withdrawals for regulatory reasons, or even an FTX collapse. right? It happened before. I wouldn't go near that exchange. It's not on my trusted list, I'll tell you that much. Anyway, I've experienced my share of uh-oh moments with exchanges, and it taught me some very valuable lessons. Never rely on just one. These days, I have accounts on pretty much all of the major exchanges, with the exception of FTX. I'm not going near that one, not with a 10-foot pole. I only go near exchanges that I can trust, and I can't trust them. Anyway, I even have a few smaller ones that I do trust. And just in case, you never know. I do the KYC verification in advance where it's needed, and I even test out each exchange with a small deposit and withdrawal so that I know that everything is working. Why do I go through all of that trouble, you think? Well, it's because if exchange A goes down at the wrong time, then I want to be ready to jump over to exchange B or C. It's kind of like having multiple escape routes planned in a building. You hope that you're never going to need them, but you'll be glad that you do have them in an emergency. Now, for example, I've got accounts with Blowfin, BitGet, and a whole bunch of others. And all of the exchanges that I personally do use are listed on my website, which is linked in the description below. And yes, those links are affiliate links. That means that if you do decide to sign up and trade through those links, it actually supports the channel here at no extra cost to yourself. Right? I want to be totally transparent about that. It's a must on this channel. So using my links is just a nice way to help the channel if you were going to sign up anyway. If not, there's no worries. The important thing here is to have a backup plan wherever you do trade. Right? We've all seen exchanges have these hiccups. I sleep just better at night knowing that I have a plan A, B, C, and even D. All right, now I know that this video is covering a whole lot of ground, but that's the reality of being deep in crypto, right? Everything kind of connects together. Now, before I wrap up, I have to give you give a quick shout out to a cornerstone of the Cardano community, which is staking, right? Now, if you hold ADA and you're not staking it, then you really should look into it. Staking is basically one of the best features of Cardano. It lets you earn rewards, kind of like interest, for just delegating your ADA to a Cardano stake pool, right, known as an ISPO, or SPO, I should say, stake pool operator. And your ADA never actually leaves your wallet. You hold it fully. It's your control. It's not locked down. You're not handing it over to some third party. You maintain full control. And yet, every 5 days, that's kind of what we call an epoch in Cardano land, by the way, you earn a little yield deposited automatically to your wallet as a thank you for securing the network. So why am I bringing this up now? Well, it's because I do run a Cardano stake pool myself, and the ticker for that is CHEEK, C-H-E-E-K. Now, I started it to support the network and our community. It's a way for me to contribute to Cardano's decentralization, and in return, the pool earns rewards and gets distributed to everyone delegating with us. Now, if you're holding ADA, waiting for the next bull run, make sure that your ADA works for you in the meantime. Even if you're with another pool, consider switching over to the CHEEK pool if you want to support the channel here and what I do here on the channel. It's super easy. There's no risk of losing your funds or anything like that. You just switch your delegation to, at least in your wallet, from the next epoch onwards, and you'll start earning with us instead. It's a win-win situation, and you potentially boost your rewards, and you get to keep this channel running by attracting more delegators to our pool. And to all of our current CHEEK delegators, thank you very much sincerely. Right? There's over 1,000 of you guys running a pool, and seeing thousands of people trusting us with their ADA is rather humbling. Okay, let's zoom out back to, zoom back out, I should say, and conclude with our main story here. Because I do think the big takeaway from this Rowe Price news and everything else that we've talked about is that the crypto landscape is evolving, and it's evolving fast. 5 years ago, we were debating if crypto had any future at all. Now we have institutions with nearly a century of legacy jumping in, saying, all right, we want a piece of this too. Now, as someone who's been in ADA since when it felt like a ghost town, if you will, then, well, I'm actually kind of just smiling to myself now. Right? It's not a loud, triumphant, I told you so just yet. right? Maybe a tiny part of me feels like that, but more of a quiet affirmation, I should say, that patience and conviction can pay off. Now, of course, this is not the end of our journey, not for Cardano and not for crypto, and certainly not for us as investors and enthusiasts. In crypto, in kind of many ways, it's actually just the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter where crypto isn't this kind of niche rebel outsider anymore, right? Cue the Star Wars memes. It's actually becoming part of the establishment's toolbox. Now, that comes with challenges, there's no doubt, regulation, scrutiny, and maybe even some loss of that Wild West freedom that we had very early on. But it still means, or I should say, it also means that there's longevity here and legitimacy. It means that I can imagine a future where having some crypto in your portfolio is as normal as having a few tech stocks and some index funds. And hey, maybe a future where your grandparents ask you if you should actually buy a little ADA because their financial advisor mentioned it to them. Now, wouldn't that be something, right? Now, I'm excited about what's going to happen next, and I'm really glad to have you all on this little journey with me here, because whether it's reacting to huge news like this ETF filing, trying out new tech like the Unity stuff, or sharing tips to stay safe and smart in crypto, this journey and channel is just my way of making sure that we all grow together.